it always likes to fake us out when we do this. It's like, we're just going to spit in the corner and think we're alive. But
And now we're live.
and now we are. Happy Friday, everybody. My name is Beth Henchesmore, and this is
Steve Harrington.
Yes, and we're joining you today on our Finance Friday. This is the show where we help you grow, protect, and maintain your wealth. So thank you for joining us. And Steven and I had really good conversations on. We actually had two ideas, but we're gonna save my idea for later.
It's a good idea.
It was. I take credit. It was great. So Steven and I have been talking, and we hear this a lot from potential clients,
Family members.
yes. Of I don't need a financial advisor, but
Well, it's not just that they say I don't need one. It's like, oh, well, my situation doesn't warrant a meeting. Like,
Right.
I don't want you to waste your time on me. And it's never a waste of time.
so we're gonna test that. We
Let's
are gonna
test it.
test that. So you don't need one until you need one, and we would like to get to you and answer those questions before you get to that point where you need one. So go ahead and tell us a little bit of a story of kind of how we got to this topic today.
The idea.
Yeah.
So there's actually two instances that really ring a bell for me. One just happened recently, meeting with a family member, and he just got a nice promotion at work. So he's like,
Nice.
all right, now I feel like I'm at a point where now we can talk and have a conversation. And after sitting down with them and going over the full financial picture, I was like, man, you should have met with me 5 years ago. I know you feel like you weren't in a good spot finance-wise to talk to me, but there's so many things we can do besides just investments. There's so many more things
Correct.
to financial planning than just, investments, grow it. So I gave some good ideas, and they're like, man, we should have been doing this for a while. I'm like, I know.
I know.
But I never like to be pushy, especially with family members, because that can be a sensitive area. But I was like, oh, I wish we would have met sooner. We would have been in a much better spot.
They just would have been on track quicker.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what we want. I like this show says. We want to help you create, protect. So if you don't have what you think is enough wealth to necessarily protect right now, but you definitely want to be able to grow it or maintain what you've got. And if things happen, people get sick, job loss. We are in Southwest Florida. That's where our headquarters are. If you get a hurricane, you have like a major
How are we
event
protected?
like that, how you have insurance for things like that, but also you do things to help make sure that your house is taken care of. And that's what we're talking about with having a financial advisor. We just want to make sure that you're thinking about things or taking care of things that you should be.
The other scenario that came to mind when we talked about this, I'm not going to name names or anything, but so I knew someone who was selling a home. They were a widow, and I knew of them. I didn't know them personally. And she was selling a home, and this was like all of her net worth. We're selling it for about $1 million. And that's what she was going to live on. And as soon as she sold that property and she had that cash in hand, she was messaged on WhatsApp or some other kind of platform, and basically was told, look, we can double that money for you, and you'll be in a much better spot. And she wired the money to someone she didn't know, and all of her money was gone, and she ended up taking her life because of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a Finance Friday here, a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, talking about scams. Because, there you go.
I got another
Yeah, let's
horror story there
let's
too.
add it, right?
But for that lady, it's like I should have went, like when I first met her or knew of her, like I should have told her what I did, and then that way we can start that relationship even well before she sells the home, which is where most of her equity and assets were. Maybe she would have came to me and said, Steven, is this a good idea? And I would have been like, no, don't do that.
No.
She'd still be
Especially if
here.
somebody says guarantees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I felt really bad. I should have done something. So I've got some remorse for that. But
Well,
these things happen all the time.
Hindsight is always 20/20.
Exactly.
Always. And that brings me to, I actually asked this question, I think a couple weeks ago. I was talking with somebody who had attended one of our seminars, and she was describing that she didn't want to sell some of the positions that she was in because it was going to make more money, put them in a higher tax bracket. She was just really worried, and I kept reassuring her, we're not even talking about that right now. We just want to see if there's anything we can do to help you. We might not, but we'd like to be able to put your mind at ease. And after she kept basically telling the same story, and I finally said to her, who hurt you? Did you have a bad experience with a financial advisor? Because let's face it,
there's some bad characters out there.
Well, financial advisors are kind of in the same realm as what? Used car salesmen?
Lawyers.
Yeah, like, unfortunately, there's some bad apples in the bunch that ruined it for the rest of us. And it feels like you're constantly trying to run ahead to just be like, hey, not all of us are like them. Mm-hmm. And I was describing it to you this morning about, finance and being a marriage. Like, not all marriages are bad. Not all people that are doing finance work are out just to get a commission check and turn around and walk away. That's not what happens. And the people that do that, well,
I believe in karma.
Yeah, about that. So if you had a past experience of one that didn't go well, that's like saying, I had a piece of chicken and it didn't taste right, so I'm never going to eat it again. Or I went outside to the beach one day and it was
too hot
and I'm not going again. Like, please don't base your experience of future relationships and where people can help you based on a previous bad experience. I promise all of us are not like that. And I literally can say that word, promise. Can't normally say promise or guarantee in finance, but I can assure that there's not everybody.
We promise we will do the right thing for you.
Correct. We are fiduciaries. That literally is what it means, is to do the right thing by people, act in their best interest. Mm-hmm. Other thing that I've heard, even when I was on my little break from Nova Wealth, is I met with people who were going, I just don't think I have enough. Mm-hmm. And I have to tell you, let us be the determination of that. That's not something that you could determine on your own, because what's not enough to you is a lot to somebody else, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. So allow somebody the opportunity, someone you trust. And there's also that interview process of getting to know somebody. You are passing about your finances to people. Give us the chance. Like I said, if somebody burned you in the past, you're not sure you have enough, or you're sure you have too much, or whatever, that's where that test comes in. Don't let the rest of us fail the test because somebody else did before us. I digress. I'm going to beat that one to death. We've also heard time and time and time again, oh, I do it on my own. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. I hear that a lot, and as soon as some people know what they're doing because they spend all their time researching it, and they're basically a financial advisor because they let it encompass their life as far as doing this. So we should end up hiring them because they're basically a financial advisor at that point. But a lot of people, the last 10 years, they've been good in the markets because we haven't had like a prolonged down period.
Anybody could have done well in the last few years.
The last kind of prolonged period was in 2022 when we, about a year, where we've seen a downturn and then a rebound. But there's been times in investing history where you could go 10 years and get no real return, or even, you've heard of that, what's called the lost decade. From the tech crash to 2008, I mean, it was flat. It was. So doing it on your own, it's good until you hit that moment where you make an emotional decision that becomes a permanent one. Yep. And you go to cash. We just had some people come to us. They've had millions in cash since 2022 because they were scared. That's right. And look at all they missed out on. Tremendous growth in just the last few years. So this is what we'll do. Like, we're not like completely unemotional about this because we're in it with you, and we feel for you when markets go down. But when it comes to investing, we've got a process when it comes to investing where we're not going to make emotional decisions when it comes to the investment piece. So I get doing it on your own. That's great. until we get people come to us. I've been doing it on my own for so long until I made a bad decision.
Right. Or I've done it for so long and I've done really well for myself. That's great. We also have plenty of people that they keep their own little accounts. They can do what they want with
Right.
it.
Bring a majority of it over.
Right.
And then they have, 200,000 or 300,000 that, they play
or
with
whatever
is
they
what they
play
call
with.
it.
Right. And I always think that's neat because it kind of gives them.
It's like, that's a lot of money to play with.
Well, but I can also see if somebody is that invested
and has a passion
for it, right? And they really enjoy doing it. But
I don't want to take that away from you.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But you also are not financial planners.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't tax planners. You aren't estate attorneys. That's what we bring to the table.
I see a lot of kind of the do-it-yourselfers where, they'll have a traditional IRA or traditional bucket, a Roth bucket, and then a brokerage account, the non-qualified bucket, and they're invested the same across all those buckets. Now, they do it themselves, they invest themselves, but they don't realize different types of assets should be placed in different buckets.
Right.
So in your Roth IRA, if you've got a small exposure to, I don't advise this, but cryptocurrency.
I say we do not make recommendations.
We're not making a recommendation here, but if you've got a small piece of your portfolio, less than 5% in crypto, that should be placed in the Roth because that's where you have that deferred growth and you can pull money out tax-free. Now with the traditional IRAs, eventually we're going to be required to take minimum distributions out of that. So we want more of a balanced portfolio there. So there's a thing called asset location where a lot of do-it-yourselfers don't understand that principle. And most do-it-yourselfers that come in and we look at their statements, we can see right off the bat that they're just invested the same across each of the buckets.
That's like, I want 2 cars, I'm buying the same thing.
I want a motorcycle, and then I want my Honda. My Honda go drive around, but then my motorcycle.
No, we're talking about the same thing. If you're invested in the same thing, that's like you having the same car, because
Right.
but you just want 2 cars.
I'm gonna, instead of buying 2 Hondas.
Yeah.
So yeah, asset location is big.
Yeah, because we talk about in our seminar too about the difference of mutual funds and where they should be, because if you have any gains, explain it because you're the one that presents on it.
There's the phantom tax there.
Yes.
So I'll keep it super high level. I'll just say this: if you own mutual funds within a non-qualified account, so that's not your IRA, your 401k, that's
like a
just
brokerage.
a brokerage account, investment account. If you own mutual funds there, you got to be careful there because there's a potential ticking time bomb there from a tax perspective. There's a lot of, most of the time, built-in gains in those positions in the mutual fund. And let's say there's a run on that mutual fund where a lot of the mutual fund owners, they want distributions. Well, that manager has to make sells within that mutual fund. And even though you don't sell anything personally or take money out of the fund, you're still on the hook for those gains. So there's potential tax issues owning that within the brokerage. You don't see that within the retirement accounts. So that's another asset location thing that a lot of do-it-yourselfers don't realize.
So, and we've more than once told somebody, they've come in, we've reviewed everything, and we've said to them, you're doing a great job. You can stay where you're at.
Or if they have another advisor
Yep,
that
they're doing
has
a great
done
job.
a great job. I've said that.
Yeah, and we'd love to earn the business if we could, but everything is going the way it should. So, and if somebody is not able to say that to you in business, I always feel like that's a red flag. No matter what kind of business it is, you should be able to have a conversation with another business or provider and someone be able to tell you you're doing the right things. And
I've got no problem telling.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it actually because I see it so rarely.
it's true. It is true. And it's nice to be able to say that. All right. As we're winding down here, 2 things to mention this month, because we are May 1st. Hallelujah. May, Mental Health Awareness Month. May is also Melanoma Awareness Month. Melanoma is personal to me. I'm actually a melanoma survivor. I'm 10 years cancer-free as of April this year. I actually had a big celebration for that. And kind of a betraying feeling when your body turns against you. So just our reminder it does not matter where you live. It's our reminder to make sure you're taking care of your health, because
I get yelled at a lot for that.
I actually yelled
You're
at
in
them
the
this
office.
morning about it. I didn't yell at you. I just said, please don't be upset with me when I say this to you, is what I said to you. And if you don't take care of your wellness, you'll be forced to take care of it later. It's kind of like your finances. If you don't take care of them now, you'll be forced to take care of it later. I'm telling you.
Nice way to bring that back.
Listen,
Okay.
I have a background in health and fitness, and I do finance now, and they're both so alike. It really is kind of scary. Also, Fridays, I also mentioned on Finance Friday, if you're in the finance industry and aren't happy where you're at, we are always hiring finance professionals who want to.
If it's a good fit.
If it's a good fit,
Good culture
of course.
fit.
We always say I say it's a vibe here, because it is. I joke with Amy one time. I go, "You certainly hire a certain kind of person, don't you?" We all have. It's definitely an office where there's lots of serious work, but also lots of laughs. So I'm always.
You become what you hire.
That's
I heard
true.
that.
That's
so.
true. That is very true. I like that.
Yeah, I heard that just
feeling
today.
that. It's also Friday where we wear red. I have red pants on. I probably should stand up. Red for remember everyone deployed. So we have the ongoing conflict, but it doesn't matter what we're facing. There are service members stationed around the world, and they are deployed. So we want to say thank you to our friends and our family and our service members for what you do for our country. And with that,
Have a great weekend.
have a great rest of your week, or weekend, I should say. We will see you all back very soon. Bye.